I think our country needs a national wealth service. That's right, wealth. I'm going to tell you why. Before the Second World War, many people couldn't afford to go to the doctor or the dentist. To avoid this, my own grandmother had all her teeth replaced by false teeth. The need for that kind of radical preventative medicine was removed by the creation of the National Health Service in July 1948. If there is a national consensus about anything these days, it's that the NHS must be preserved. No politician will attack the principle that healthcare should be freely available on the basis of need and not ability to pay. And R.M. Bevan, the health minister in the post-war government, had a hard fight against strong opposition from the British Medical Association. They objected to the idea that doctors would be ordered around by bureaucrats, seeing the NHS as a threat to their professional freedom. Of course, private medical practice has continued to thrive alongside the NHS. You can still choose to go private if you have insurance or the means to pay. But we're agreed that physical and mental well-being is the province of the NHS. When it comes to financial well-being, though, we're largely on our own. True, there is guidance available if you know where to look for it, and the advent of the internet has helped. We've all had the experience, though, of feeling more confused after reading about options we hadn't even imagined before we started looking. And as we all know, guidance is about what you could do. What people really need to know is what they should do, i.e. they need financial advice. That costs money, and the truth is that people aren't willing to pay for advice, partly because they don't trust financial advisors. Since the advent of pension freedoms, hundreds of thousands of deferred members of DB schemes have been stimulated to transfer to money purchase arrangements. Hitherto unimagined sums of up to £500,000 or more have been quoted. Independent financial advice is mandatory, which costs several £1,000s if you can find an advisor. Under the cosh of crippling increases in professional indemnity cover, and the growing risk of adverse judgments by the Financial Ombudsman Service, fewer and fewer IFAs are willing to advise on DB transfers. So we're getting to the point where financial advice will only be available to so-called high net worth individuals. Pensions are our particular concern, together with social care costs in later life. Fewer and fewer people will have DB pensions to supplement the state pension. What should they do? We know auto-enrolment at 8% is not a complete solution by any means. How and where to save? What for? Why? And how much? And taking into account all their other commitments, it's just too complicated. So people do nothing and just battle on as best they can. In the national interest, people's financial well-being is just as important as their health. Like going to the doctor, you should be able to see a financial advisor free of charge when you need to. That's why we need a national wealth service. I invite you to tell me whether you agree or not.